it's Alicia again, and for today's video, I'll be doing something I've been meaning to do for a long time, which is practicing my digital art skills. I've been a traditional artist my whole life, and so when I step into the digital sphere of art creation, I find that I really struggle. Digital art truly does feel so unnatural for me, and so I wanted to make this video to talk about my process, to hopefully help or inspire some of you guys who might be in a similar situation as myself, and also just to practice my skills and learn the program that I'll be using today, which is Procreate, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. So yeah, let's get on with the video. So here I'm adding a gradient in the background, which is the sort of pinky magenta to yellow. And I do this to simulate a wash you might do in a traditional painting. The wash is the first layer of paint that you put down on the canvas, and they serve a whole bunch of purposes in traditional art. And so I wanted to see how I could incorporate a wash in a digital illustration. To do this, I decided to not fill in all of the flat colors perfectly. I leave some gaps between colors to allow this gradient to peek through. And I think in the end, it gives it more of a handmade look, almost like storybooky in a way, which I think is quite charming. I started by blocking out the base colors, then creating another 2 layers, one for shadows and one for highlights, which I feel is a pretty common process for digital artists, and I find that it works for me too so far. I was sitting outside just sketching for fun. I didn't really have any ideas or plans per se of what I wanted to draw or make, but I ended up with this drawing of a unicorn that I really liked. I was picturing bright colors, flowers, clouds. I just wanted to make something cheerful and lighthearted. As you saw earlier, I started with a traditional drawing, then traced it, because out of everything, I find that I struggle the most in the sketching phases when it's in digital. I find it so hard for me just to jot down ideas or do thumbnails, particularly thumbnails, and I don't really know why, but this is something I hear from a lot of my classmates too, so let me know if you guys feel the same. So here there's actually quite a big jump in the footage, so I do apologize. I don't know where the footage went. So for a quick recap, I had added these grainy purple shadows on the unicorn to contrast against the smoothness of the pink flat color, just to give her a bit of texture. I had added a bit of color variations to the sky, grass, and mountains, again with that grainy sketching brush. I believe it's called Peppermint. It's just a default brush on Procreate. I didn't really want to get into brushes too much for this sketching session because I knew it would just confuse me, so I stuck mostly to the defaults, no shame in that. I also added a light source to the unicorn by making another layer and blocking out the light shape in yellow. I just kept the blending to a minimum. And here I'm going in with the highlights for the hair, and honestly this step really made her hair look so good. I just kept the highlights a hard line, no blending, and it looks so shiny. Then I'm selecting the layer of the line art to add color variations to it for more of a softer look. Black line art can look quite harsh, and that wasn't what I was going for. So I decided to add little color variations to the line art based on what color was beside it to make it look a bit more seamless. Now I'm adding some sparkles and some more finishing touches, and here's the final illustration. I love how this piece came out. I love the colors, the textures. It just feels so charming and cozy to me. I just love little magical, fantastical illustrations, and I hope you guys like it too. I'm gonna be so for real. The previous speed paint that you just saw, I recorded that July 7th. It is currently December. So just bear with me. I did take notes, so luckily there's that. But yeah, for the second piece, as you can see, like straight off the bat, I did quite a different style compared to the previous one, but I wasn't really that bothered with trying to make them look the exact same. I'm adding a little bit of shading onto the skin I'm doing purple in the shadows and a little bit of orange too with that peppermint brush that I still kind of use now anyway, even though it's been like 6 months. I'm still using that brush. I did download new brushes. Learning how to use new brushes and stuff, like, it is very important, and it will make your art like stand out because you have a unique look. But I honestly was not bothered with that right now in this very moment. But yeah, here with this gray layer, you can see the reference I have up on the left, but I'm making a plaid pattern to put onto the pants because I just felt that it needed a bit of pattern to sort of break up the flat colors that are sort of everywhere else. It adds a bit more to the overall composition. But anyway, yeah, I insist on doing this entirely manually. But, you know, again, I'm all about the process. In this moment, I'm all about the process. So I'm totally okay with doing it myself. And I know how I wanted it. Now I'm going in and adding a highlight layer over everything. Just making this a yellow tone and then playing with the, oh my god, what's that called? The blending mode? That's what it's called. Yeah, I'm rendering the hair a little bit more to give it a little bit more dimension. And then I'm referencing these pair of shoes that I've been wanting for a long time that I don't have yet. Because I'm determined to get them secondhand. And these are kind of an unusual type of like docks, so they're really hard to find. At the start of these illustrations, somehow I felt a bit guilty about doing digital art, like I'm somehow betraying and rejecting traditional art, which are my roots. But once I started viewing digital art as just another medium, which is just what it is, I stopped feeling that weird guilt. And you know what, at the end of these illustrations, yeah, I started to enjoy the process of digital art a little bit more. I think that for me, there will always be that charm of traditional art that I haven't been able to capture yet in digital. I'm a very like tactile person, so dealing with the textures and like the physicality of traditional art can never be replaced in digital for me personally. But I will say the seamlessness to digital art and the shortcuts, they do save so much time, and there are endless possibilities with what you can create in just digital art, but also combining your digital art with your traditional. I think there's a lot of possibilities there as well that I definitely want to get into, which is exciting. And yeah, all those possibilities, they don't feel so overwhelming anymore. They just feel more of an opportunity. Digital art is extremely forgiving compared to traditional, obviously with the option of the undo button and being able to change essentially anything about your piece at any time. But I will say that overall, doing art digitally is less rewarding to me compared to traditional art. There's something so deeply human about creating a physical piece of art and being able to hold it in your hands after hours of work. And I don't get that kind of satisfaction with digital art. I'm excited to continue with digital art, and I know I still have a long way to go with all of it. Yeah, and please let me know what you guys think. Do you struggle with digital art? And please let me know some advice or techniques you've learned down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm sure the digital artist connoisseurs are shouting at their screens because I insist on doing everything manually, but it's simply because I don't know any other way. Be kind to each other and have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Okay, I'll see you soon.